Welcome, guys, to another installment of Victory Road. Our first weekend of Battle Roads are just finished, and it was a pretty productive weekend for me. I won both of them, uh, not without the help of some amazing friends, though. Definitely got some Tostitos on Saturday. Yeah. Uh, and basically, I don't know, the whole scoop, no scoop thing. We talked about it a lot on the show yesterday, and if it's whatever you think about it. I mean, Uh, Saturday, I definitely needed it because I chose to go with Kabalion, Landorus, Garbodor last minute, and it was honestly horrible. I do not like Garbodor this format at all. I mean, at least with Landorus and Kabalion because they just don't do enough damage for me, and I felt that way throughout like all my games. Had three people end up scooping to me, and those guys are awesome, and it's just awesome all around that people would care so much about me getting my invite that they would be willing to help out. And then on Sunday, it's completely different. I headed to Tucson, Arizona, and it's probably about hour and 30 minutes away from me. And no one at Tucson I knew would scoot to me, and there was a few friends that came down that I knew would, but basically I went in there thinking I wasn't really going to get much help, so I definitely needed to win it by myself. And I decided to go with just the deck we've been testing a lot, and it's like big basics and plasmas and stuff. And I ended up going 5-0, winning the tournament. There was 32 people there, so if we had one more person, we would add 6 rounds, which I was kind of glad we didn't because I was already tired from the drive and I didn't want to stay another 30 minutes to an hour. But yeah, it was fun all around. I found out that I really love Getsus this format, at least for the first 10 games I've played in Battle Roads. It's just so fun to Getsus turn 1 and hit like 4. Like, okay, so round 1 in Tucson, I play against this kid from there, and he's playing Gray Eels. He starts a Rayquaza EX and a Mewtwo EX on the bench. My hand is like Cobalion, Blend Energy, Burbank, Laser, and I Getsus hit 4, and all he's left with is a Lightning Energy. And I draw 4 cards, and I'm all set up, and I'm good for the next like 3 turns with Juniper and more lasers and catcher and stuff like that, and more energy, other Pokemon to play down. And he's just sitting there, draw pass, and then he decided to Celestial Roar, hits all his supporters, which is the worst thing to do when you're in a supporter chat. Like, where are all my supporters in my deck? Yeah, I think I'm gonna discard the top 3 cards, try to get energy instead. Yeah, but uh, after the game, he just told me, "Oh my God, Ghetsis is the worst card ever. Why would anyone play Ghetsis? Oh my God, I'd rather play N." And it just brought a smile to my face because I don't know, it's just so funny. And honestly, I think Ghetsis is one of the best looking full art supporters, and it's like the only one I have, so I like it a lot. Uh, Another thing I did was with some of my friends that came down. They're essentially just Yu-Gi-Oh players, and they decided to help me out and come down as long as I gave them decks and they'd play. And if we end up playing each other, they would concede, but it didn't happen that way. But they still had fun playing, and I built uh, one of them built Darkrai already, and then I built Darkrai for another, and then gave Blastoise to another person, and basically I built my deck and their 2 decks in the span of like 20 minutes before registration closed, and it was honestly the worst idea ever because I was so flustered and I had cards everywhere, and I just didn't want to like see a deck list after that at all. It was horrible. And honestly, some of my last minute choices or something might have been bad, but uh, my friend Oscar, who I gave Blastoise to, he ended up starting out 3-0, and he like he's never played a single game of Pokemon really before this, and I just told him how to play the deck, and he's like, okay. And he's honestly one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh players or in the nation, and he's like always been the best in Arizona, and he just has a certain like skill just to card games that he'll always do well at. But like my last minute deck building choices kind of like screwed him over the last two rounds, and he ended up 3-2. But I don't know. I worked on it, and he really likes Blastoise now. Just the problem is getting the three beaches for him to play it, and like for everyone else to play it too. But it's really fun this format. I really like it, and it's the one deck where I can like actually play Execute because I put it in there, and it said it helped him out a few times, but he never really got it out. So I'm gonna keep testing it and see where it goes because it just means you gain a card on every like discard support you have. So it's like Superior Energy Retrieval, Ultra Ball. I don't know. It's just in theory it seems really good, but uh, throughout him he never really got it, and it's not worth playing two to like get it more or a second level ball because you only really play level ball to get Squirtles out early. Um, I found out that Black Hyrum isn't really that amazing this format as it was last format because last format you had Big Basics, Darkrai, and then like Blastoise and Klinklang. Those were the big decks. And oh yeah, there's Rails too, but he had a bad matchup against that anyway. Um, but Black Hyrum helped against all those decks. I mean, except Klinklang. Yeah, Klinklang fucking sucks. I hate that deck. Fuck you, Chris. All right. So basically, the best Blastoise decks always played like three Black Hyrum because that's the main point of the deck, and you want to basically attack three times, get your six prizes, game over. Well, that's what I basically did for this one, and then he starts going up against Plasma decks, and they're all attacking with Kyurem, and now Dark decks attacking with Absol, and basically you're wasting more resources faster, and you instead of attacking three times for the kill, you're attacking like five. And honestly, it wasn't worth it. And he also had some bad prize luck with like prizing both of his Keldeos, and I ended up putting a third one in there, and so far it seems to really work nice. And another thing that popped up over the weekend, uh, which I knew about before, but it was the Gothtel Excelgor, where it won Norway, I think. And I don't know, with all the hype it's getting now, people are like have a grip of Gothitelle selling, and uh, that they bought for $1 a piece, they're flipping for like five. And I think it's actually a pretty good deck. I think you definitely need two to three beaches for it, just like Blastoise or Klinklang, because any stage two deck needs that support because it's just so slow. Especially with this deck, if you don't get the perfect hand, you're not attacking until like turn four at the latest, and or at the earliest. Um, it's definitely a really good deck build because with this, once you get set up, they can't break the lock, especially with Dusknoir, and it seems to have some promise. But the biggest thing was surprise factor for it, and the surprise factor isn't really, I don't know how you say it, there anymore. But there's not really much people could do anyway, so they just know how the deck functions now, so they're gonna try to pick it apart while they're playing. But unlike last year with the Shandy, Vileplume, Excelgor, where there was a few hard counters like Unknown Cure, Espeon, all we have really now is like Audino or playing two Keldeos, and that only really stops it for one turn. Uh, well, kind of, yeah. Uh, and a lot of decks can't afford that space either. So it's like either you're gonna have to take an auto loss to it or just try to outspeed it. And it's really interesting to see this develop over the battle roads and different times people are playing. I don't know. Throughout the weekend, I gained 30 points. Like I said, I won both of them. I have 14 left, so I'm at 386, and it's honestly the best feeling ever, especially win the first two. And I knowing I have at least six more that I can go to that are moderately close to me. I think the farthest one away now is 40 minutes because we did the first two this weekend, which were the longest ones, which were like 50 minutes and an hour and 30 minutes. And we have our marathon coming up next. It's three because Memorial Weekend, and I don't know. It seems fun. Once I get my invite, I'm gonna be playing uh, basically just fun decks and helping my friends who also need the points. Even though there's only really one, which was my friend Jesse, who I did the deck profile on, who got second at regionals. He needs 28, I think now, and he's really close too. So I'm excited for that. But honestly, it's just looking forward to nationals. These battle roads are helping test so much because I get to see all the results and all the metagame and adapt to it because throughout the year I only really get to see Arizona and the Southwest. But coming up to nationals, I know a lot of people are trying to keep stuff secret, like with Gothitelle, and I'm sure there's other like secret decks in the work. And it's just you try to like adapt to everything that people are going to be playing, and you want to make the most consistent deck possible, and that's what I've been trying to do. Because honestly, if you start the game with no support in your hand, you're already at a disadvantage, and that's basically it. Like, I don't know. I really this format's tricky because some of the decks that I really want to play just can't get there, and like I've seen some plasma decks that honestly look like the least consistent possible, but they'd get the best first few turns, and it set them up for the whole game. And I don't know. I played against a lot of Darkrai on Sunday, which on Saturday I played against like all plasma, and then Sunday I played against all Darkrai. So it was kind of really weird, but luckily I made the metagame call and played a heavy Landorus line, and it helped out a lot, especially with all of them playing Crushing Hammers and stuff. I was just it was flustered, but I was able to get it through. I don't know. I also was able to sell a bunch of my ultra rares and made some money and bought myself some treats. I got the Lord of the Rings deck building game. It's basically uh, the DC deck building game, same engine, some of the same cards too, but it's a lot different and it's new, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, especially since I love Lord of the Rings. I also got this card called Recall. Honestly, it's like one of the best arts ever, and it's just so fucking cool. I'm trying to get more. Gonna make like my tokens for like all my other games, and it just looks amazing. So I want to thank you guys for listening. As always, like and subscribe to On the Bubble YouTube. Like our Facebook page. Follow us on Twitch. Love you guys. See ya.